B team here today, and with Darkstar.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, Darkstar. Today we thought, we've been hard on Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour. So today we thought we'd let Jay prove us wrong. And he wouldn't come on the show, and I understand that. But so we thought we'd do the next best thing is roll a little video of Jay giving him the floor and demonstrating his capabilities as CEO of the PGA Tour. You ready, Darkstar?
Absolutely. Hit it.
All right, here we go.
Of all the players that have gone over, have you ever had anyone come to you in conversation before signing?
Yes.
Yes. Very succinct.
He didn't want to expand on that.
What was the nature of the conversation?
Those are private conversations. And I think for a lot of players, they're having a really hard time making that decision. And some have decided to stay and some didn't.
That's the part I like. It's the part I like. Some stayed. Some didn't. It reminds me of a famous football coach. I said, Coach, what's your strategy for the game? And he said, well, we're going to run or pass. Thought, yeah, that's awesome.
Jay has always been very good at pointing out the incredibly obvious.
Yeah, I thought that was,
But again, I'd rather not get into the specifics of that.
In the back, please.
With everything that's happened recently, how could this possibly affect the President's Cup?
I don't think it could affect the President's Cup at all, Darkstar.
I think that's going to be a great event.
Or
is it a great event?
I think it's great. How could losing the entire international team, really, for the most part? Am I right about that? If Cam Smith goes over to LIV, which is widely rumored now, seems like it'd be hard to have that not happen. Who is left on the international squad?
Well, as I mentioned in one of the lost episodes, Greg needs an Australian squad. So Cam, Leishman, possibly Adam Scott. They're gonna have nobody left.
Yeah,
I mean, you almost feel like they should cancel the event.
So how could it possibly affect the President's? It can't possibly affect it. Let's see what Jay says.
Well, listen, I think we're going to have a tremendous 2022 President's Cup at Quail Hollow. And the President's Cup has always been not only a world-class competition against the international team and U.S. team, but it's also been a great celebration of golf. And I know that Trevor and Davis are putting their hearts and souls into preparing their teams. And when we get to Quail Hollow, we're going to have a phenomenal
celebrating the game and growing the game.
And they're going to put their best team forward.
It's going to be great.
And that's something that I know they're spending their time and energy on.
Their best team forward?
That's what they're going to do. Most people would put their mediocre team forward. Jay's just reminding us of how this works. You basically put your best team forward. That's what happens. It's great. It's going to be great.
And I'm proud of them for that.
And he's proud. He's proud. Now the question was, now I know the audience has forgotten the question because Jay probably forgot the question as well when he decided immediately that he wasn't going to answer it. What effect are all these LIV players, of all these players in the international squad leaving to go to LIV, going to have on the President's Cup that takes place in, a month and a half?
Yeah, well...
Or a month? What effect's that going to have?
He's basically trying to do what his entire mantra has been. Nothing's going to happen. LIV's not going to survive. They're not a threat. The President's Cup will go on exactly the way it is without any players, I guess.
It's great. It's going to be great. It's great. Javis is great. Trevor's, they're great. It's going to be great. That's what the answer is.
George.
Jay, curious if you have had a conversation or would consider in the future with Andy Gardner and the Premier Golf League.
No, Andy Gardner. Now, a guy that's going to do presumably something like LIV, right? Might want to talk to him.
I have not had a conversation with Andy Gardner. But as I've talked about previously, we did receive a letter. We've analyzed their proposal.
They got a letter. So a couple things here, and I don't know if we're going to go on, but I don't think Jay's allowed to speak with any of these people. I think he's purely a figurehead. He looks good. Who does he look like?
Don't put
All right.
the
That's a secret. We're going to show that
He
later.
is. We are going to show
All
that
right.
later.
Anyway, I don't think he's allowed to talk with him, but they took his phone privileges away. He's the Walter Mitty of CEOs. Can we say that?
Central casting.
All right.
Absolutely. He is. He is central casting CEO. There's our, oh, you can't see it anyway. He looks like Owen Wilson. I mean, it's like almost like a replica, except Jay has a better nose. To Jay's credit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's uncanny. Look at that. It's
right.
uncanny.
We're gonna get a lot of hate mail on that.
We love Owen. He's basic Wedding Crashers. Come on, Wedding Crashers.
No, Owen's great. I love Owen, but
Well, you know, Jay got the job for a reason. He looked right.
He does look like.
He fit in the suit.
Well, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
His
Job was to make sure nothing changes.
His job is to not question the real authority and whoever that
At
might
this
be.
point, again, going back to our business model and the strength of it, don't really see an opportunity on that front. But I'll stress, we're
Now,
looking
that's
at-
the part
we're
I
looking at
really love
anything
about that
and
answer.
everything.
He's so happy with his answer. Yeah, no opportunity. There's just nothing on that front. However, then something else in his brain that he's been coached over and over on said, you must sound inclusive. You must sound inclusive. Do not sound harsh. You must sound inclusive. So Jay then immediately rolls into, after he's done with his answer.
And that was like the best answer he's ever
Yeah,
given.
that was the best answer you get.
Yeah.
Just as we have in the past, but the model we have is as strong as it's ever been. and
If
it's
something
only
shows
getting
up under the
stronger.
table,
For the players of today,
I got a
the players of
broom.
the future,
We're looking in the
make certain
corners.
that
We're looking
continues to be
everywhere.
the case.
What is the future of the WGC going forward? The label, the title, if you will.
Good question. What is
The
the future of
future-
the World Golf
Just wondered, you
Championship?
just changed the name of Austin? or
Jay?
what?
Yeah. Now the reporter there says, "Is it just the one event, the Dell, right in Austin?" That's what he's talking
Right,
about.
because they
Just
haven't
that.
had the other ones because of COVID.
Correct.
Yep.
Well, the other ones have evaporated. There used to be like 4 of these things,
Yep.
isn't there? Okay. So what does Jay do here? Very important.
Well, it's two.
There's 2. Doug.
Still too.
I happen to know the reporter's name is Doug. There's 2, Doug. Let's not forget what the other one
We've
is.
got the WGC HSBC Champions and the WGC Dell Match Play.
Where Dark Star is the HSBC Champions played.
Well, let's start with, I believe the H is for Hong Kong and the
It is.
S is for Shanghai.
That is correct. Very good.
Stellar.
Where are those places? There's a country.
Little country
It's
over.
a little place. They just threatened to invade their neighbor, and they launched missiles and did all. We actually did a show. Nobody saw it, but we did do a show on that. So do find that. Go find that,
No,
please,
don't
because there's a
find that.
competition here.
Do not find
I need that episode to do better,
No.
because otherwise I'm going to owe Dark Star a whole bunch of money.
All right.
So yeah, that little country, China, did threaten its neighbor just recently and told the Speaker of the House, the U.S. Speaker of the, let me say that correctly, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, there we go, was told not to come. We're going to bomb that place. I mean, they were threatening like crazy, the Chinese. So go find that episode on China invading Taiwan. Now, Jay has gone out of his way here to remind everybody that we, the PGA Tour, still have a tournament in China. Not like those nasty LIV guys, though.
They need the money.
Not like those
I
bad
didn't
LIV
say
guys.
that out loud, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Believe it or not, I need the money.
I think that's, when you look at the core of our season, we have one. We expect to continue with that brand. And if any changes are to be made, Doug, we'll certainly let you know. But right now, we plan to continue forward.
Last question up here, please.
Yeah, Jay, assuming sooner or later this will end, to resolve somehow, what's your vision for what the end will look like with
Well, this is a
story?
good one.
Look at his face here. Look at his
Jay,
face.
I know this. There's a little rumor going around that there's this rival golf league that's well funded. You might have heard about it. It's been in the press a little bit. I mean, the biggest story in golf, and the reporter rightly says, "How's this going to end in your mind? Since you're arguably the most powerful person in golf, Jay, how's this going to end?" And I've seen this, so I'm a little bit ahead of the curve here. Watch how Jay fields this.
The vision
Eventually, he's going to answer.
goes back to
Come on, Jay.
He's like, oh gosh. First thing he's thinking now, this is just from my corporate background. He's thinking that, God, they didn't prep me for that question. That's number one. Number two, he's like, how the hell am I going to answer this? Number three, he's thinking, all right, I was told to be inclusive and calm and open-minded and yet reiterate that we are the tour that's going to remain the dominant player, and it's all good. It's all great.
Yes.
We just announced all these changes. So he's searching for the right answer to this.
the vision comes back to the announcement that we made today, and the PGA Tour continuing to be
Great. But I got $10. It says the next word's great.
Oh, wait. What kind of odds am I? No, that's a sure thing.
the greatest tour in the world.
It's the
And
greatest
when you
tour
look
in the
at
world.
The elements of a new FedEx
Actually, I
Cup
don't remember
season,
that part.
new opportunities in the fall, more consequence during our regular season.
It's just he's gone back to this. He
You know,
couldn't
our
find
alliance
it. He
with
didn't
the
have an
DP World
answer.
Tour,
Right.
This is the question. We even have to
investments that we're gonna
remind
make
our audience.
in
The question was,
promoting
this
and
is going to end
celebrating,
someday, Jay. Somehow this
our
is going to
athletes.
resolve itself, one way or the other. And there's lots of ways that could come out. I mean, so what's your vision of how you'd like to see this come out? And he could have,
He could have said anything. Well, obviously, the reporter is looking for, is LIV going to die? Is LIV going to merge? Are any of the players ever going to be able to come back? Oh, by the way, a quick aside, Jordan Spieth's been very, very quiet.
silent as the grave.
Is he still playing golf? Is he?
He was at the meeting. He was at the meeting,
meeting.
which is, we're not talking about that in this episode,
Yeah,
but
all right.
it's, what is today? Friday. We're into what is the tournament this week?
The second leg in their pseudo playoff.
Where,
that nobody watches.
they're in Delaware. They're in Delaware. So the
Delaware.
the top players had a meeting just for the players. No PGA Tour guys, just players, and it was the top 20 or 22 guys. And Spieth was there. That I've gathered that, and everybody probably saw in our audience, at least, that Tiger flew in, like that was a big deal. And Ricky was on the plane with him. Interesting. So I guess Ricky's off the list for LIV, which is surprising what they've been chatting. All right, let's roll through the rest.
investments that we're making in areas like gaming, NFTs, future
Is he going to say
media,
great again?
content
Probably.
development.
At least
At
three
least
more times.
three more times?
Yeah.
I expect that we will continue to innovate, we will continue to evolve, and the product that you see and that fans see every single
That is
week
important.
Didn't he
will
already say
continue to
so?
get stronger and stronger. And this organization will do what it's always done. When you step back, it's not just the best players in the world competing against each other week in and week out, but the impact that we have in a time and a day and an age where life is all
Oh, he's
about
gonna
meaning
get
and
the charity in
purpose.
here.
And the expectation is that we all do more. That the PGA Tour will continue to have a profound impact on lives through the charities that are benefiting from our tournament.
There it
There it
is.
is. Was-
See, now he rambled on so long that he eventually found a file that he hadn't played yet.
Right.
And he said, oh, Peggy, she told me to get the charity thing in. And in it went.
Every community where we play. And we'll take advantage of this moment in time where we've got an incredible group of athletes, young, international.
It's just so
emerging,
moving.
established.
It's
that we're gonna
inspiring.
use this moment
I'm
in time
inspired.
to accelerate the growth of our game.
They've had 4 or 5
and do
months,
all
they
the
haven't come up with
things that are going to provide the strength and the momentum
Come on, say
that
it.
are needed
Come on.
for us to grow, to get back to that core principle of best players playing on the greatest stage, which is the PGA.
Hey, yes, Jay, all right.
Thank you, Jay.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
God, and I swear to you, audience, I did not look at that part of this video beforehand. That's awesome. Was that, do I get $10?
Yeah,
$10 for
all right.
that. $10.
Cheeseburger. Actually, I'll give you the $10. Cheeseburgers are too expensive now.
True. $4.50 for an Egg McMuffin. You got to be kidding. And they're
They've shrunk
this
them.
big.
shrunk
They're you need like 4 of them to.
He's got one more.
I'm sorry. Doug?
this is what I've talked
One of the
about.
things we keep hearing from a lot of different angles is that there's just too many tournaments on the schedule. Do you see anything
This
going
audience,
forward?
this was June
where the number of
22nd,
tournaments
I
that
believe,
you
at this,
sanction
obviously at the Travelers.
is less
you
than
can
what
see
it
that.
is now.
So this is when they just laid out their new Super Tour and
Well,
all
I
the
think
changes
what we've
because
done
of LIV.
today, Doug, is you've gone from a wraparound season to a season, a FedEx Cup season, that is primarily January through August.
January through August. Do you think he's been reading our notes?
I think
He's been watching.
He's been watching.
He would like to be a
Secretly.
thinking man,
Well, he
but
doesn't-
he's not.
He doesn't have a phone, so he must be watching our videos.
He hasn't talked to what Andy Gardner. They did get a letter though. They got a letter from Andy. That was nice. And actually, in Jay's defense, I don't see how that would ever work out. They have their own Super Tour. What do we need Andy's Super Tour
Well,
for?
that's what they're going for, right?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense, Jay. We give you a little bit of props.
You know, I got to say one other thing about Andy Gardner. One of the things in a serious vein here is Andy was at least smart enough to point out to them as these players leave for LIV and your strength of field goes down, you know, all of these sponsors are no longer obligated to sponsor.
Yeah, you worked that in, didn't you?
Maybe somebody ought to mention that to Jay.
Yeah. They're going to have to upgrade
That's where
their-
Jay's purely just a figurehead. He's purely out there to put his Owen Wilson face on and say everything's great and everything's perfect. And
It does look like Owen.
I don't see it like
Better
you do.
knows.
I don't see it as much as you do.
does.
All right, you put the.
I
tape
bet the wife tells him that all the time. That's a great point. You snuck it in there. The PGA Tour is going to have to upgrade its law firm for sure, and have several of them probably. The contracts that they sign with Travelers and all the sponsors, right, have clauses that say, well, if only Yogi Bear and Huckleberry Finn show up, we don't have to pay you or whatever it says. There's language in there that they just can't do whatever they want.
And by creating two separate tracks for those players that finish, inside the top 70 and outside the top 70, to me, there's some alleviation there.
Now I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I mean, this is the new season stuff, and I don't want this to be boring for you or for us. But that they just changed the FedEx Cup. As bad as it is you can make some money there.
Yeah.
They just took it from 125 to 70. I was 95th this year, let's say, whoever that is. And I thought I did pretty well. I was in the top 100 golf player in the world, in the whole world. And I got to go to the FedEx Cup and try to win, $15 million or whatever the top prize is. It's pretty big now, or 10, whatever it is. And now it's only 70.
Yeah. Well, as you said, I think they've been watching our shows on the dilution of the tour,
But are the prize money in all the regular tournaments? In other words, have net of all of it, and we will go study it, the changes, but net of all of that, and there probably still some fluidity there. Is the bottom player better off? Is number 125 better off with the new system or worse off with the new system? Meaning, and what that was Phil's whole point.
right. And I've said that a million times. They're worse off. They always throw money.
Even in the new system,
Right.
I think.
In the new system, it's even going to be worse. Rory's going to make $4 or $5 million in a tournament just like he's playing on the LIV Tour because they have to compete. And as I said, and that Phil said this, and everybody said it, when the PGA Tour gets in trouble, they throw money at Tiger Woods. They throw money. What is that stupid thing we can never remember? The PIP?
It was a $4 million Deloitte consulting arrangement. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Player Improvement Program. No, Player Impact Program. They probably can't. They probably have to look it up too. Is
So
it
if you
improvement or impact?
So if you get in a car accident, you win.
Yes.
Without
Yes.
hitting a shot.
Yes. If you cripple yourself, then yes, you
right.
get the top prize. But it's just it's turning into like professional wrestling where you have the stars. And those guys are great athletes, by the way. Tremendous athletes for their size. Wow. But it's a show, right? So you have the stars who win, and they lose only to make it more interesting. And then you have everybody else. What are they? What is everybody else? Paid losers.
Yeah.
They're just there to fill out the
What?
stars. It sounds like that's what the PGA is sort of moving towards. It's ridiculous.
What can't the PGA Tour that pretty much every single other sport can do with subjective officiating? They can't do that. Seb Straka was in a playoff. I didn't know Seb Straka played golf. No, I shouldn't say that.
You're going to sneak in some comments about your feelings towards football referees, aren't you?
That's in my show. You got to watch the other football show.
Well, I will go to that one.
Watch the
Do not
football
watch
show.
that show. I'm telling you, the Taiwan China thing is far better.
Watch the
Far
college
better.
football episode of The Thinking Man. Yeah.
But more importantly, those tournaments within the core have gotten even stronger.
Maybe they
And I
have.
fundamentally
Maybe they
believe
have.
that those tournaments
Stronger
in the
would mean
fall,
more money, right?
given the importance and significance that an opportunity to be on a PGA Tour means, qualifying for invitationals, retaining your card, I think that moment is going to be, while different than it's been in the past, I think is going to be very exciting for fans.
All right. Well, we gave Jay a chance to show us and show the world just how adept he is at leading a significant, not from a revenue point of view. He's not the CEO of, Coca-Cola or IBM or Procter & Gamble or any of these big companies, but it's got a big public presence. It is, and it's not nothing from a revenue point of view, and it sure has a lot of high-profile, independent contractors. Don't you think they could have come up with a guy who was just a little bit better, just a little?
That was the whole point. Was they didn't want a guy with any quality, and now they need one, and it's like
Good point.
it has not become bad enough. Things are not bad enough for them to need to get rid of him.
If I had a magic wand, I would love to have a chat over a beer with Fred Ridley, among all of them. I can imagine Fred just going this, like,
What are we going to do?
what are we going to do with this guy? We don't like the Saudi money. We don't like the Saudis. We don't want them ruining what we have going on here. They don't share our values. Whatever Fred thinks, because Fred strikes me as a pretty sharp guy, and I'm sure he is, because Augusta wouldn't hire somebody or promote somebody that wasn't sharp. So that's the real power in the world. But wouldn't that be? It's just Fred. Whoops, sorry. Fred's just like.
They all are.
Yeah.
They are. That's why they took his phone away.
Greg called. Yeah, I don't have a phone anymore. They changed it. I think it's in my spam settings.
Gartner called. Greg called.
I think it's in my spam settings.
it-
I am out of here.
All right, we're out.